The character I play is Maria Rossi, and she, 20 years ago, slaughtered her entire church group, and her daughter is now on a quest to find out what happened to her mother, because she discovers that while she killed her church group, she was actually being exorcised. I think it's got all the elements of classic horror, frightening films in there, and I love the story. You know, I mean, this is a thing that I don't think there's been a film about, you know, the fact that the Vatican has a school for exorcism, and that they have very clear criteria about what constitutes possession. I think people are intrigued by, you know, paranormal exorcisms, whatnot, because in today's day and age, you know, everything is so fast and explained that anything that's not explained or easily explained away has a total fascination. Plus, we love to be frightened. We just love to be frightened.
The Devil Inside is a must-have for any paranormal fan. I mean, this really is a look at exorcism from the other side. It's not The Exorcist or Emily Rose or any of those. It really goes into the other dark side with two rogue exorcists, two rogue priests who are fighting for the greater good in spite of the church. This woman viciously murdered 3 members of her church while they were over having tea. And, you know, it's found footage, so of course you've got the news footage, and it's terrifying. Slam cut to her beautiful daughter, who was 8 at the time of the murders, who's now a woman, and finds out that those murders happened while her mother was undergoing an unsanctioned exorcism. Because no matter how much people want to believe that there is nothing out there, we all know in the pit of our soul that there is something on the other side. In the pit of our soul, we know that where there's absolute good, there is absolute evil. So when things aren't as we believe them to be, how can we in fact know what's true?
My name is Maja Daou, and people call me the White Witch of Los Angeles. I offer education on spirituality, religion, and the occult. I do herbal healings and divination readings. I'm here at the Linda Vista Hospital. We're here for the DVD release of The Devil Inside, and we're going to be investigating demonic possession. Demonic possession usually entails someone losing control because they are not communicating with something that has gone wrong inside of them, and it kind of spirals into something that takes them over, where they have no more power to exert their will over their body.
They're going to capture with that, but after they're done, maybe you can do the stills thing as well. I don't know. Was they here?
Thanks, guys. We'll find out after. I'll let you know so you can see a clip of yourself.
Thanks, dude.
Just change direction.
That's also why you're carrying your bride across the
Oh, we're upcoming, Brenda. That's shot.
So we're actually now. I said it's a bargain. I'm not talking. The red light's right now.
Okay, I got it. I got it. Hold her down. Pull her off of me.
Grab her legs.
Jeez. Hold her down. Jeez.
Get her in those restraints.
Hold her. Jeez. Oh my God. Put her down. Put her down. Put her down.
Which way?
That way. Just. Help me right now. Get those people out.
Linda Vista Hospital, it's been around since 1904, so it's well over 100 years old. It was initially constructed by the Atchison, Topeka, and the Santa Fe Railway Company in order to take care of their employees. When the 1950s came around and the big freeway boom started in the United States, or in Los Angeles particularly, they kind of cut through the cities and ended up kind of segregating these little neighborhoods. So by the 1980s, the hospital ended up being sold and ended up becoming a public hospital. That's when you begin to hear stories. We've heard a lot of reports of a lot of neglect and a lot of abuse that has gone on between the staff and the patients here at the hospital. One of the worst stories that I was able to track down, I actually heard from an ex-hospital administrator who worked here during the 1980s for about 3 years. And he said that they were so, it's such a low-income neighborhood that the city really wouldn't give them very much money to do things. So they were incredibly understaffed. So they would have patients come in and they just couldn't keep up with them. So one of them would pass away. They didn't have time to deal with the body. They've got a waiting room full of patients and people in the emergency room. They would take the bodies and stuff them in the janitor's closets and in the laundry room and in the linen closets and just leave them there. The hospital ended up closing. The emergency room closed in the 1980s at some point, and then it finally closed down altogether in 1991. And pretty much from that point on, it ended up becoming a filming location. And even to this day, I can't tell you how many complaints we get on a monthly basis of the film crews that are here, which are almost constantly, of things being interrupted, the noises, the bizarre stories that people have been experiencing. It really happens all the time.